The compound Shewa. Actually, we've already seen these. These are the half vowels or the reduced vowels that we encountered in our introduction to vowels in our vowel chart. If you remember, we had at the very bottom of the chart, we had a series of vowels. One looked like this, and then we had one like this. Then we had actually our Shewa that we've been doing so much with. And then we had one like this. And then for the U vowels, there wasn't anything. Remember, this is our A vowels, E vowels, A, E, I, O, and U. Now this is our Shewa. This is not a compound Shewa. This is the simple Shewa. These are the compound Shewas, these three. And they're called the Chataf Patach, Chataf Sagol, Chataf Kametz. And Chataf just means hurried. And that's they call them that because the way you pronounce this is like a hurried patach. So it's a, this is a hurried sagol, and this is a hurried kametz hatuf. This is a short o. Now, in terms of transliteration, we already looked at this, but it's got a brev or a breve over it like this, an and this is like this. This one is a raised, there's some room here, a raised It's pretty hard to see, isn't it? A raised E. These can also be superscripted sometimes in some texts. So, these are a compound Shewas. Sometimes they're called composite Shewas because they're a composite of the corresponding short vowel and the Shewa. So composite Shewas are compound Shewas. Okay, now where do these things show up? They largely show up with the gutturals. Okay, and the gutturals, if you remember from our guttural module, we have four of them. We have Aleph, Ayin, Chet, and He. And the reason they show up with these is because these, especially these pronounceable ones here, are pronounced near the back of the throat, and these, I guess, are easier to pronounce near the back of the mouth to match these consonants. It's a phonetic reason anyway as to why the compound Shewas appear with the gutturals. The gutturals will not take a simple vocal Shewa. Now, by that I mean the vocal Shewa that is a vowel. Okay, we're talking about the vowel one now, not the silent one. The one that is silent, remember we have the two. The silent Shewa is really a syllable marker, and it can show up, though it's rare, it can show up with gutturals. But what I'm really talking about here are these, the vocal Shewa. Instead of the vocal simple Shewa, this is called simple in contrast to compound, you will get these compound Shewas. Now let's look at an example. A good way to look at this is, let's take a verb, shavar. This means to break. Okay, simple verb to break. If I put this in the imperative or a command form to tell someone break something, it is shavor. This is the standard way to take a verb. He broke becomes break. Now let us change this verb. There happens to be another verb that's identical to this, only it's got a guttural in the first position. So let's do that one. It's avar. Avar means to pass or to cross over or to pass through. When the Israelites passed through the Jordan or through the Red Sea, the Sea of Reeds, it's this that they do. It's this verb. And you can see here everything's identical. The only thing different is that we have a guttural here. All the letters are the same, including the vowels. Now, when I put this in the imperative form, This vowel is the same, just like that, shevor, but instead of ivor, we have avor. The guttural cannot take a vocal shava. Remember, this is vocal at the beginning of a word, beginning of a syllable. It's not a silent shava. The guttural can't take that, so it has a compound shava, a composite shava. Note also that the one it takes corresponds to its family. This is an A vowel, the kametz, and this is the hataf patach that corresponds to the A vowel in the first column. It does not take this one because this is really the short O, remember? We'll talk about this later. We'll talk about the distinction between the two vowels that use the same symbol, the kametz and the kametz hatuf later. But this here is the short O. This is the short A, or the half A and the half short O. Now, gutturals, or not gutturals, but composite shavas or compound shavas can also show up with other consonants sometimes, particularly resh. You'll see it sometimes with resh. An example of that, just a quick example here. Make sure I spell this right. Barahu. This means to bless. It's also an imperative, a command. This was singular, this is plural. So you would use this if you're telling a group of people to bless. It shows up in Psalm 134, verse 2. Bless the Lord. Telling people to bless the Lord. So here we have a resh and we have a composite shava showing up under there as well. So in summary here, really what we're saying is that gutturals are the ones that tend to take these composite shavas instead of the simple vocal shava. And they will take one that corresponds to a vowel, generally anyway, a vowel in its family. So A vowels will take this, and O vowels will take this, and E vowels will take, I and E vowels will tend to take this. But it'll be a composite shava in any case.